Hey guys, this is a team and player showcase for NHL North American Detroit Red Wings. And first up, we have Dylan Larkin, the overall average of 88. His potential is elite. And on to his attributes. His player style is playmaker. Let's see. Lowest stat being his physical and shooting at 3.5 stars. We have defense, puck skills at 4.5 stars, and senses and skating at 5 stars. Next up is Anthony Monta with the overall average of 85. His potential is elite. And onto his attributes. Player type is a power forward. And here we have his stats. Defense being his lowest at 3.5 stars, with senses as well. We have skating, physical, and puck skills at a 4-star rating, and his shooting at 4.5. Here we have Tyler BERTUZZI with the overall average of 84. Potential is top 6F. And here are his attributes. His player type is a two-way forward. And let's see here. Skating is his lowest, with physical at a 3.5 star rating. And the rest of his attributes are 4 stars. And here we have Philippe Hronek with the overall average of 82. Potential is top 4D. And his attributes. His player type is a two-way defender. And his lowest stats being puck skills and senses at 3 stars. Shooting, skating, and physical are at 3.5 stars. And his defense is at 4 stars. Here we have Danny DEKEYSER, overall average of 81. Potential is top 4D. And his attributes. Player type being defensive defenseman. And let's see here. Lowest stats are puck skills and senses at 2.5 stars. We have his shooting at 3 stars. Skating at 3.5 stars. His physical and defense are at 4 stars. And here we have Philippe ZADINA, overall average of 81. His potential is elite. And onto his attributes. His player type is a two-way forward. And his weakest stats being in defense and physical with 3 stars. Puck skills, skating, and senses are at a 3.5, and his shooting at 4 stars. And here we have Robbie FABBRI, overall average of 81. His potential is a top 6F, and these are his attributes. Player type being a sniper. His lowest attribute is physical at 2 stars, defense at 3 stars, shooting and senses at 3.5, and his puck skills and skating are at 4 stars. And here we have Patrick NEMETH with the overall average of 80, his potential being top 6D, and his attributes. Player type being a defensive defenseman. And let's take a look at these stats. His puck skills and senses at a 2.5. His shooting at 3 stars. His defense and skating at 3.5 stars. And his physical at 4.5 stars. Here we have Valtteri FILPPULA, and his overall average being at 80. Potential is a top 9F, and these are his attributes. Player type being a two-way forward. We have his weakest stats being puck skills, physical at 3 stars. His defense, skating, senses, and shooting all at a 3.5. Here we have Darren Helm with an overall average of 79, his potential top 9F, and his attributes. Player type being a two-way forward, his weakest stat being senses at 2.5 stars. We have his shooting, puck skills, and physical at 3 stars, his defense at 3.5 stars, and his skating at 4 stars. And here we have Luke Glendening, overall average of 79, potential being bottom 6F, and his attributes. Player type being a two-way forward, and his weakest stat is puck skills with a 2.5 star rating. We have senses and shooting at 3 stars, defense and physical at 3.5 stars, and skating at 4 stars. Here we have Franz Nielsen with the overall average of 79, potential being top 6F, and his attributes. Player type being a two-way forward. Let's see here. Weakest stats being senses and shooting at a 3 star. Also physical at 3 stars. Then we have skating, defense, and his puck skills at 3.5. Here we have Sam Gagner. Overall rating is a 78. And here we have his potential, top 9F. His attributes. Player type being a playmaker. And let's take a look here. His senses are the weakest at 2.5 stars. We have defense and physical at 3 stars. Skating, puck skills, and shooting at 3.5. Here we have Adam Earn, overall average of 78, with the potential top 6F. His attributes and player type being a power forward. Let's see. Puck skills and senses at a 2.5. We have his defense at a 3 star, shooting, skating, and physical 3.5 stars. Here we have TIMASHOV, overall average being a 78, potential being top 6F, and his attributes. His player type being a playmaker, the lowest stats being defense and physical at a 2.5 star. We have senses at a 3 star with shooting, also 3 star, and his puck skills at a 3.5. And we have his skating at a 4 star. Here we have Brendan PERLINI, overall average of 78, potential is top 6F, and these are his attributes. Player type being a sniper. Let's see, his lowest would be defense and senses at a 2.5 star rating. We have his puck skills, his shooting, and his physical at a 3.5, and his skating at a 4. Here we have Madison Bowie, overall average of 78, His potential is top 4D, and these are his attributes. His player type being a two-way defender, and let's take a look at these stats here. Puck skills being his lowest at 2.5 stars, but also senses, they're both 2.5 stars. Shooting defense at 3 stars, and not to be mistaken with shooting defense, this is shooting and defense, both separate stats at 3 stars. And his skating and physical are at 3.5. Here we have Jonathan Ericsson, the overall average of 77, potential being top 6D, and his attributes. Player type being defensive defenseman, and the lowest attribute is senses at 2 star. We have his puck skills at 2.5. His defense, skating, and shooting are at 3 stars, and his physical is at a 4 star. And up next is Justin ABDELKADER with the overall average of 77. His potential top 9F. And on to his attributes. Player type being a power forward, and his weakest stat being puck skills and senses with a 2.5 star. Shooting and defense are at a 3 star. Skating and actually the skating is just at a 3.5, and physical is a 4.5. Here we have Christopher N with the overall average of 77. Potential is top 9F, and his attributes. Player type is a two-way forward. And let's see here. Puck skills, senses at a 2.5. We have his shooting and defense at a 3 star, and his skating and physical at a 3.5. Here we have Trevor Daly with the overall average of 77. His potential is top 6D, and these are his attributes. His player type being two-way defender. His lowest stat is senses at a 2.5 star rating. His puck skills, defense, and shooting are at 3 stars, and his skating and physical are at 3.5. And here we have Alex Viega, overall average of 77, with his potential 7th D, and his attributes. His player type is a two-way defender, and his lowest stats being puck skills and senses at a 2.5 star rating. Shooting and defense are at a 3 star, and skating and physical are at 3.5 stars. Here we have Cody GOLOUBEF, overall average being a 75, potential is 7th D, and his attributes. Player type being a defensive defenseman, and his lowest stats being puck skills at 1.5 stars. We have his senses at 2 stars, shooting at 2.5 stars, his defense and skating at 3 stars, and his physical at 3.5 stars. And final, the last person is Henrik ZETTERBERG with the overall average of 70, potential being top 6F, and his attributes. His player type is a playmaker, and his lowest stats being defense and senses at a 0.5 star. Then we have physical at 2.5 stars, and his puck skills, skating, and shooting are at a 4 star rating. And that was our team and player showcase for NHL North American Detroit Red Wings.